somebody that wants to be their own boss is that they also don't know that there needs to be something to follow, right? It's like, I'm going to be my own boss. It means I can do whatever I want. But if you want the success in your career, that's not just what it means.
And you want to make a huge influence into some of the causes or initiatives that you're really passionate about. You want to make sure that you're aligning with people who share the same values and the same passions as you. And you are, you're finding joy in everything that you do because there's a different sense of fulfillment, a different sense of giving back. My name is Jenny Woon.
My name is Toni Singh.
And we are back here to talk about your real estate career.
Fun. Today's topic is the 8 phases of a real estate career. Let's share with our audience where we got this information from.
Yes. So we recently attended, Toni and I, a conference held by Richard Robbins, the Real Estate Academy, right? And it was very interesting from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock for 2 days. They started off with a very big picture or scope of the milestones or the cycles of a realtor, what they go through. So I thought what I want to share with you and our listeners is maybe just a clear vision of what it looks like to plan for the future so that you're not repeating the past, number one. But also when you have goals or dreams, what that will look like.
For sure. And I'm excited to be going over this because I realize myself that I stayed in phases 2 to 5 for way too long.
Those phases are.
Okay.
So Richard Robbins has this trademark program called Future Focus. Future Focus, to them, in their words, it's the ability to see things as we would like them to be in the future. Okay. And it's not just talking about today, but it's the importance of having a really good vision of what your lifestyle looks like, what your business looks like. And so when you can understand exactly where you are now and then where you want to be in the future, then there's a plan in place that needs to be
there's
developed.
A clear roadmap that you can follow, right? With something in place where you're it's like your North Star, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
I love that.
And what you're going to get excited about in the future of all the possibilities and how you're going to spend the rest of your life and how you're going to make decisions and actions consciously and unconsciously.
For sure. So let's get into the stages.
Yes. So there's going to be 8 stages. Number 1, the honeymoon stage. What is that?
When I read this in the conference, it certainly brought back memories. It's, you're new to real estate. You have boundless enthusiasm and you're like, yeah, possibilities, lots of energy, eager to do whatever it takes to succeed. For me, that looked like working all the time because I'm like, this is so great. I love it. I don't need sleep either. But at this stage, you're usually unskilled and lacking experience.
It is absolutely a time where you're going to be building the foundations of knowledge and all your skills, and you have the mindset of wanting to build a successful career. It includes, obviously getting your license, learning about the market, developing a business plan. You do lack skills and you're trying to improve on those skills. What is one thing that you really enjoyed during this honeymoon stage?
I mean, everything was exciting for sure. And any opportunity, it was all opportunities, right? And the thirst for knowledge, because I had no idea what I was doing during that time.
For me, the honeymoon stage was the idea of being my own boss.
Yeah.
I always knew that I was going to be my own boss, but I didn't know in what capacity or what product or service.
So it's funny that you say that because sometimes the problem with somebody that wants to be their own boss is that they also don't know that there needs to be something to follow, right? It's like, I'm going to be my own boss. It means I can do whatever I want. But if you want the success in your career, that's not just what it means.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also wearing multiple hats that you weren't,
for sure.
that you're
It's
uncomfortable
like,
with.
but I thought I was the boss.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
you are
only
the
you
boss.
right now, so do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is the treadmill phase.
Yes. So that is actually putting your plans into practice. You're establishing your brand, your marketing strategies, your prospecting. What are some of other signs or like actions?
So the treadmill phase is a highly reactive phase, though, which I
Mhm.
find really interesting. And so you might have, a few business systems in place, but essentially the entire business is dependent on you.
Mhm.
So you could have cash flow challenges
Mhm.
during this stage, and maybe uncertainty and fear, not knowing where your next deal is going to come from. It also can manifest in the way that you're working too much. So
Right.
no longer from a place of inspiration.
Or that you're not good enough,
Yeah.
or that you're not good at not doing enough.
Yes, the
Right, because
enoughness of it all,
yes,
for
yeah, so
sure.
there's a lot of mindset exercises in this particular phase,
Absolutely.
okay? The third phase is called the crossroads phase, and this is where you end up, experiencing a lot of challenges and uncertainty to knowing how to build a sustainable business, and so this is where you're testing your perseverance, you're testing your resilience, you're testing your time management. You are trying to figure out how to generate consistent income while finding a niche. Look, who are you? Trying to establish your unique selling proposition. You're trying to establish yourself in a market that is probably saturated with lots of other agents.
It's for sure. And, it's so interesting reading, but when we read through these, because I'm like, yeah, I went through that phase. It can also show up in terms of feeling overwhelmed and tired of the grind. Sometimes in this phase, things can also fall between the cracks. I did have that happen
Mhm.
because we were working with so many clients, and I'm like, the systems weren't actually up to par. So someone could fall through the cracks, and that was like a
Mhm.
huge failure.
Mhm.
So it can also show up in the way that sometimes when people are at crossroads phase, they're not sure of whether or not they should be staying in the business or not.
Yes, that does happen. It's like that 2-year 1 to 2-year mark, right? Where
Yeah, or
you're
even sometimes for people it's like 1 to 5 years because they're like, "Oh, I'm
right.
still doing this, like, why? Why?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to keep up for sure. And
Do you
it
remember what that phase was like for you? Was that your burnout phase?
no, my burnout phase was I wasn't losing interest in the business.
Mm, just
I
tired.
was just trying to keep up with all the business, and I'm not trying to brag,
No, it's
but
it's what it is.
but because I was so invested in every single transaction and
Mhm.
maybe overdoing
Yep.
things that I didn't need to do, that's why I burnt out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't have help at that time. But yeah, you're probably wondering, like, the business is so dependent on you because you are the business. And so you try to find a way to, I guess, separate or find your own identity separate from the business, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
and it can be hard too because 'cause you're doing it all. You're also potentially at this point trying to expand, but then that's
Mhm.
how things fall through the cracks, right? Because you don't have the support.
Mhm. Mhm.
Phase number 4 is the business owner stage.
Yeah, so this particular growth stage is, it could be a turning point for some people in their career where they start seeing an increased stability in their succession planning and in their systems. They start to expand on their client base. Maybe they're like 3 to 5 years in the business and they have repeat business because people are moving. They're
Mhm.
consistently generating leads because they have found ways that have worked for them. And so it may involve investing in adding in some new technology, perhaps, or adding in hired help.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what have you done kind of in this particular phase?
In that phase, we actually did implement more systems because we had too much energy leakage. And so the more systems that we had added for client care specifically were really helpful. And we knew that that would produce a result of, being consumer centric and helping our clients achieve their dreams. And then I think personally, for me, I did have a renewed sense of excitement towards the business. It was kind
Mm,
of something new. There was a slightly different focus, but it still pertained to real estate. So yeah, I liked that phase.
mhm. For me, this particular phase was hiring a marketing person and adding a team member. So
Mhm.
I do remember this so clearly because there was, I treated it as a public announcement, like a public relations situation where I created my West One brand. I came out with some new lifestyle images, and I added a new team member. I added a marketing person. So I definitely remember this pivotal moment in my business.
Did
It
you
was
get
really fun.
okay, I have a question. How close together did you make those 2 hires, and how much time did you get back after they were trained? Like, what did that look like in terms of timeline?
I was able to pass on leads that I was not able to handle. I felt like I shifted my focus on more training and becoming a visionary and a creator rather than a doer. So I would say I don't think I gained extra time and freedom. It was more my responsibilities were a lot different.
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, that sums that one up really perfectly, and then we have phase 5, which is the plateau phase.
Yes. This is characterized by a steady flow of productivity, profitability, recognition in the industry. You've established a brand. You've established yourself as a reputable top producer who is great at connecting with people. And you're in the stage where you can expand your business further. Maybe it means adding a new team member, or even diversifying into other areas, or maybe a different type of product in your, like going from residential sales to maybe a bit of property management, maybe a bit of commercial sales.
Yeah. New experiences.
Yeah. And so what does plateau phase mean?
I mean, if we're speaking to the emotion for a second, because sometimes when we explain it in this way, it's like, oh, maybe you hit a glass ceiling in terms of production, but what does it feel like? Um, it could look like income is flatter. It could feel like a loss of passion for the business itself, or just a little bit stale. Like, it's like, oh, we're doing the same routine, the same rut.
Right.
It feels dry and a bit old.
Right.
I would actually say, yeah, I resonate with this, and I still struggle with it sometimes. So I'm probably at phase 5 and 6. I'm not that advanced, but I would say that that's probably where I'm focused right now, and that's okay.
I felt like I'm just trying to go back to when I felt I was in a plateau. And that was probably during maybe my last years of my marriage, where I didn't really work on the business too much because I was pretty much trying to figure out
For sure,
my
life
personal life,
experiences.
right? And so I was pretty maybe distracted in a way. It was still running. I was still servicing my clients, but maybe I wasn't getting new, caring to get new business, or had enough business that it was running itself, or my team members were able to run it for me. So this plateau phase, I felt like it was more of my personal life kind of took over.
Yeah, and it can show up that way too. For me, the plateau phase was, um, I'm not passionate anymore at all in dealing with first-time homebuyers. It is too much work for me at this point in time with my other responsibilities, and so that just gets referred out. But I remember feeling that, I'm like, "Oh, no. Oh, no. What's happening?" It was a shift.
Okay, so the next phase, stage number 6, is the growth phase. It's achieving a high level of success where you're able to make a bigger impact to society, to the world, beyond the personal financial gains. And so when you engage in mentorship, leadership, philanthropy, you're giving back to the community. You're able to give up some time that you've been dedicating to a business and contribute it and disperse it in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. This can also show up such that, maybe you've hired an assistant or an additional salesperson, and you're training the team members and delegating tasks, but you're experiencing growing pains, which is normal while you're training. I've experienced that too.
Mm. This growth stage, I want to say it is, to me, I found my purpose. It was part of the podcast. It's part of what challenges, triumphs, adversity have I experienced to want to now make it not about me.
For sure.
It's
And
about
it's about them or
community.
the other people.
Yeah, it's about leading a community of people who have similar experiences and as well who want more than the next deal, more than just the
Absolutely.
next paycheck. So and at the same time, I was spending a lot more time refining the systems. I was spending more time trying to understand the goals of each of the team members. So I was like, obviously adding in more team members, adding in more talent into
Leveraging people, but also understanding their motivations for how you can help them professionally and help support their life vision, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I guess it's not the final phase. It's the second final phase, phase 7 as team leader. So you're transitioning at this point from an active real estate professional to more of a strategic planner with team members. And, maybe you're considering retirement or shifting your focus. Maybe it's more the wealth preservation rather than income generating, but the wealth preservation, proper investments, investing back in the business, those kinds of things. And you're thinking more about your legacy at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're leveraging your resources, your experience, and you want to make a huge influence into some of the causes or initiatives that you're really passionate about. You want to make sure that you're aligning with people who share the same values and the same passions as you, and you're finding joy in everything that you do because there's a different sense of fulfillment, a different sense of giving back. And I really this is the stage that I'm at right now. I'm at the highest peak I can get. And there's so much more to explore because of all the other new projects that are coming up with Women of Oakland and with our podcast. I get to have I can't believe a lot of the things that are on my vision board are coming true. And so I know that what I'm focusing my energy and time on, it really does resonate and feel really aligned.
Well,
with
you
what I
have
want
the
to do.
freedom right now because you're out of that minutia.
Yeah.
And it's so great because now you can really create. You talked about creativity earlier and today. So you're in that phase, which is so beautiful to see.
And finally,
the big one.
Succession planning is
it's the end goal.
It's the end goal. It's trying to build something that is no longer about you. You're focusing on a system that is automated, that it's dependent of you, and you're monetizing your database so that you can maximize value in your business, so that you can sell your business one day.
Yeah.
You can also have a succession plan into retirement. And we had an episode with this couple from the States where they were teaching agents who are pretty much transitioning from working their entire life in this business to retirement, but then also training them, how are you going to partner up with somebody that's hungry to take over your database, but also not entirely lose the referral.
For sure. And this could look like different things for some people, right? Because I know some top producing team leads that have retired and they still want to be involved a little bit. Like it's not completely, maybe they're doing training or something after they do the succession plan or someone else has purchased it, but they still want to be involved in the growth of other people. I've seen that before too, which is pretty inspiring.
Yes.
If that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people probably don't think about where life is or how life is after this, right? So they're just busy chasing the next business. And so hopefully these 8 phases kind of gives you a broad framework of your progression and evolution of the business. And I think it's really important as well to take each of these phases, write out specific details and strategies of how you're going to implement and take these into action. So some tips. Don't skip the writing and the journaling of building and writing down your big audacious goals. Create your vision board, create your trajectory, starting from 1 month, 3 months, 5 months.
Yep.
Or sorry, not 5 months. You could do every month if you want.
A year.
1 year.
5 years.
Quarterly, yearly, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Set aside some time as well to do a self-assessment. I love self-assessment testing on myself because it's
You can
really
see
has
where you're
changed.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can see
has
where you're lacking or where
yeah.
you're
Where I'm
fulfilled.
what I'm good at, where I can build my craft.
Mhm.
These self-assessments can then help you with your goal planning sessions. And when you write things down, your goals of achieving them increases by 75%.
It's true. It's in the data.
Right? So, I hope this episode inspires every one of you to write out your goals, to write out your dreams, and wherever you are in this cycle of this business, we wish you all the best. We so appreciate that you guys are tuning in.
Mhm.
And if you want to, just comment out of the 8, which phase are you in?
Yeah, I would love to know that too.
Yeah, and what are you struggling with? What are you excelling at? If you have some struggles, we can turn that into a podcast episode.
For sure. And everybody benefits. So you guys do this today. Have a look at where you want your roadmap to be so that you can actively create your future.
There you go. Thanks, everyone. Have
Thanks.
a wonderful week.